Hello, friends. Happy to get to spend a little bit of time with you today. Go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. So the problem I want to work through today is from Zybooks, and this is out of chapter 4, and this is lab 18. It says, make some adjustments there. A year in modern calendar is 365 days, and every 4 years, a leap year takes place. So it must be divisible by 4. That is always true. However, in addition, if the year is current century year, so it's divisible by 100, it must actually be evenly divisible by 400. So this is what we're supposed to do. All right. So we'll copy that and we will go ahead and get started. I'm going to be working inside Anaconda. Had a few difficulties getting Spider 5.3.3 to work. So I had to go to environments and created a new environment called Spider. And then I was able to tell Spider to go ahead and install 5.3.3. So anyway, once that is going, we'll kind of start piecing together our plan. So I'll do File, New File. I'll do File, Save As. And we've got this this folder called SWASU Computer Science Python Examples. This is an online Git repository. We're working out of Computer Science 1 for today, and this will be Chapter 04. And I'm going to call this one Leap Year. Okay, actually, I'm not going to use any of this. But instead, we'll use that. So we'll wrap this a little bit. And let's see. Oops, that's kind of an ugly spot to wrap it. All right, so the leap year must be divisible by 4. So if the input is 1712, leap year, 1913, not a leap year. But we also know 1600, 1712, 2016. Those are all leap years. So I'm going to write, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Just to make sure runs. Yay, there we go. And so we'll say "2016." And that's because we've got a list. So let's see, 1913 leap year. I'm going to make a table of these. And then we also have, so 1700. Okay, so 1600 is a leap year. "1712 is a leap year. 2016 is a leap year. Okay. So it only happens every 4 years. So we can say 1601, 1713, 2017, and it should instead say not a leap year. And the idea is I just wanted to have some test cases that we can work through that are going to make sense. I'm going to work through the first. No, we'll leave this 2016. We'll work through that one first. Okay, so the year must be divisible by 4. I'm going to start out with a Boolean variable. Whoops, forgot. You've got to use the capital letter on that. And then we'll come down here and we will say things like if input number and all right, so we're going to use a tool called modular arithmetic. Okay, modulo and mathematics. Clockwork arithmetic is kind of how they explain that. So 17 and 5 are congruent modulo 12. So this is something that we would see in a discrete structures textbook. The idea here is if you take 12 or 17 divided by 12, the remainder is going to be 5. If you take 5 divided by 12, the remainder is going to be 5. And so this is a congruency. But this is the part that we really wanted to see. So 15 modulo 4 is going to be remainder 3. Say that a different way. If you take 15 and you divide it by 4, it doesn't divide out easy. But if you take 4 and multiply it by 3, you get 12. 15 minus 12, you're going to have a remainder of 3. So the modulo really just tells you what the remainder is. So what's the remainder if you divide 15 by 4? It's 3. So that's what we want to use here. And so we're going to ask the question of input year divided by 4, the remainder needs to be 0. Now, again, on my if comparisons, I always ask, is this the same thing, right? So if that is possible, then I'm going to say, is a leap year? Oops, it's not a function, kids. I don't know why it loaded it up. Is going to be true. And then I'll come down here and I'm going to say if year print and we'll do a formatted print so I could do substitutions. And I will say input year, wrong direction. Leap year. Well, come on. There we go. Now we'll change the text to not a leap year. Okay, so we'll save this. We'll run it. It says 2016 leap year. Change it to 2017. Not a leap year. Okay, so that's mostly working. Now let's try some of our other test cases. Let's try 1600. All right. And I'm gonna make a note here. We have this case working. And we also tested 2017. So we've got that case working. So now let's try 1600, see what we get. 1600, it is a leap year. The other one of the test cases they said was 1700. Let's try it. Yeah, see, 1700 is not divisible by 4. So this gets into this other case. If the year is a century year, so what a century year means, it's divisible by 400, then it also has to be divisible by 400. Okay, so we're gonna stack that up just a little bit more. So we're gonna say we're gonna grab this line of logic again. So this is a special case. And so we've got to indent this a level now. This is the special case that says, hey, if you're going to divide it by, if it's divisible by 100, all right, and now I've got one more layer that we need to add into this. Then it has to be also divisible by 400. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, 1700 is not a leap year. 1600 is a leap year. And then, so we've got this working. 1600 did pop up as a leap year, so I'm going to say we've got that working. Let's try 1712. See, that's a problem. So we've got to think that through. So what we need to do is we need to add in an else statement at this level. And the reason we need to add that in is to deal with the case of like 1712, where it says, if it is divisible by 4 and it's not divisible by 100, then it is a leap year. Because now we're talking about the case where it's not a century year. If it is a century year, then we've got this other check that we have to do. So I like that. So let's try starting our test run again. So let's just see that 1712 works. So 1712 leap year. So that's what we would expect. Let's try 1600. 1600 is a leap year. 1700. 1700 is not a leap year, and that's because it's one of the century years. Okay, so got that working. Let's do 1712 while we're close. 1712 is a leap year, so I'm going to say that is also working. Let's try 2016. It is a leap year, so that would be as expected. And then we've got, oh, that's where that extra space is. Let's try 1601. Not a leap year. Good. We'll just do the whole bank of not a leap year. Cool. 1713. Not a leap year. 2017. Okay, so now I'm gonna play with it just a little bit. Oops. There we go. So they want us to use this line of code in the Zybooks if you're playing along in the Zybooks. So I'll pop in here. I'll paste this in. Now they're still calling it an input year. And let's see. And according to Zybooks, they want to print out year dash not a leap year. Okay. We will grab our code, copy it, paste it. Oh, habit. I hit Control Save quite often. So we'll try their inputs right quick. Cool. All right. Now we'll go to submit mode, submit for grading. Cross your fingers, hold your breath. 0 out of 10. All right. It says your output had an extra space here, and they expected this output. So that means oh, yep, 2 spaces there, 2 spaces there. Habit, I hit the Control S. Up, and it wants a lowercase. Man, I just can't break that habit of hitting save before I run it. And with those 2 changes, so deleting the spaces and changing it to a lowercase, we did get it fixed. So I'm going to come in here, delete the space, make it a lowercase. Okay. And that time saving was a good thing. Now I'm going to do one more step. This time, I'll use the command prompt inside Anaconda Navigator. I've got a different hard drive that I use. Just gotta remember what it's called. There we go. And if you'll actually notice, it tells you I was using, this is the location that I was using. So I'll just steal this location and I will do, and I use get status to tell me, have I tracked these changes with my source code management tool? And it says, you actually haven't, and you need to add this file. So I'm going to do get add leap year. And I'll do, all right, I might be out of sync with the server. It's been a minute since I've checked. So I'm going to make sure that I'm up to date with the server. And sure enough, I had some students come by office hours yesterday and I forgot I had made a change. But now I should be good to go. So I hit get push and it tells me that the main branch is up to date. now I can come in here and you don't actually have to be logged in to see this. But go to github.com/swasu, and it did log me in as me. I can click over here, come down to Computer Science 1, Chapter 4, and we can see the leap year code. And you can even see that we fixed the capitalization and the spacing. So anyway, the code ends up being itself probably 17 lines of code. But we had quite a few comments up above that were helping us understand what we were doing. Well, friends, I hope that was beneficial to you. I hope that makes sense. Appreciate your time. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Thanks.